So hey, hello. My name is Michal, as I was introduced, and I came from Prague, from a small startup which is here for like over 2 years now, and I came to tell you something about how we released our first game, and what were the ups and what were the downs of self-publishing. I changed the name of the slide recently because 20 minutes is not long enough to go into too many details or too much details. So I just focus on how we fixed our broken situation with the support of influencer marketing. Actually, how is this working? Okay, so we call it launching big time in an indie style. As I said, Church Monkey is a small startup, was founded back in 2015. We are over 15 people right now, including external consultants and interns. I would mention something which is on the point number 4. It's impressive track record, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. About our game, like to give you an overview what our game is, it's line defense, where you're collecting heroes. It's based like in-apps are based on gacha, and it's what we focused on is the cartoon and humor style, and it's in development for over 2 years and was officially released this February. This is how the game looks right now, so it can give you the impression line defense, you know, like fighting against each other. A little bit about the status where we are right now and where we get after the, you know, like after the half a year of release. We are over 2 million installs, and we generated over 750,000 gross revenue in dollars so far in the half a year. Here you can see the monthly revenues and the increase, and I'll be talking more in detail about each of the months and what we did and what leads us to where we are right now, which is break even. Yay! A little bit of the KPIs in the history. We can discuss, I believe, after the presentation. If anyone is interested, I can go, you know, like, it will be better person by person because, you know, like, to get stuck on one spreadsheet is not as good as, you know, like. So I'll be talking about the 7 months till today and what we did to succeed and not die, because believe it or not, there was a time earlier this year when we were facing nearly bankruptcy and end of the studio. One wise man, which I met a couple of months ago, said that the difference between startup and corporation is that in startup you want to succeed and survive. In corporation you are checking the checkbox. So in the end of the day, where something is bad, it's not your fault because you did the checkbox. What we did in 2016, the game was in a very long soft launch, over a year. We started January 2016 with iOS. As you can see, these are, you know, like those peaks are results of user campaigns where we were testing and iterating on the product. It's not looking so bad as far as you don't realize it's in hundreds of users, you know, only. So after like a year, we just were kind of, how to say, like stuck, and we didn't know what to do, what should be the next step, because I came from a corporate background, and like it's awesome to work for a corporation because I have an insight to, you know, like loads of analytics and loads of data and loads of data constructions. But the thing is that they are like a bad behavior menace, which I took with me into the company, and like this startup is the first for me in my entire 15 years careers in gaming. So actually it was I who said, let's do iOS and let's try the featuring. That was like very big mistakes. Thanks to the guys in the team, we just decided, like, look, after a year in soft launch, there is no way how to succeed with this strategy. So let's go and try something else. So we turned out and we decided, let's try Android. And that was one of the smartest decisions we did after like 11 months in the soft launch. And as you can see, like those installs are in, you know, like thousands. They are not anymore in hundreds only. End of the January looked very promising for us, and you know, like the result of the A/B tests and the result of the changes we did were super positive for us. So we were really looking forward, and we said, yeah, right now it seems like we are able to, you know, like release the game worldwide and see what happens. So yeah, that's it. Like we built our own sync PvP split screen booth, and we were, like having that classical approach to the marketing, like build a community, like have the visibility, like get the people on board, see how they're, like will be engaged by the game. We also, like try the classic PR campaign. So like let's build something unique and share it with the people. So the question is, do you think that approach worked? No, not at all, actually. It didn't work. So, back to our situation. Like, one thing which is a key learning in the whole process is that the data we got in the A/B tests and from the build in February set a super positive mood in the team. So no one really saw a red flag, which was releasing a big bulk change of the game and the gameplay itself right after the release, which nearly destroyed the whole studio. And as you can see in the point number 4, like our original 4.6 rating on Google dropped down in a couple of days to 4. And that also resulted into a huge loss of revenues, which we were able to generate so far before. And the whole studio and the whole project will face, I would say, like, volley of that. So, when we were here about like the year ago, and we were in the second half of our soft launch, we were looking for like answers because the game was out. In the soft launch, we did a couple of iterations. We did like paid user campaigns each month, but they was like not a big clue what to do next, how to polish the game, how to like break that like a kind of a low performance during the soft launch. And we came here and we just saw that most of the talks were like a really high level, like you should succeed by fixing your core loop. And that's not really enough for someone who came for advice. So what I'm going to share with you later in the presentation is really like a detailed data. What we did after the unsuccessful release in February and a really pessimistic March, because we are a startup, we are not a corporation, we had to survive somehow. So that's what we did. And with the help of our friends from the industry who introduced us to a very skilled free-to-play consultant, we were able to change the tide and to leave the volley of that which we faced in March. So as you can see, one of the things, like we actually work in like 2 separated lines. One was focus on the marketing and find out a way how we can effectively get new users. And the second thing is what to do with the game, how to fix that fuck up, which we did in that February release. So as you can see, in April, we started to work with externals who finally understood the free-to-play. So they help us to, tweak the economy. And I can also explain later what it is in the real, what steps we did, not like we fix it and right now we are okay. So as you can see, one of the our marketing efforts focused on three directions. One is closed for small studios, which is getting featured. That's kind of like a mantra. We'll be featured, we get 1 million installs, and yay, we are millionaires. The second one was influencer marketing, because we felt there is a huge opportunity. And again, we were introduced to very interesting people who help us a lot in that time. And the third one was classic paid user acquisition. This is a result of like a first testing campaigns, which also set a super positive mood in the team, because what we saw in those low cost, like 500 per video, we were very positive couple of days, which was awesome, and we was hoping that we might be able to scale it up, invest more, and that the scale up will be same, so we'll get 2 times, 3 times, 4 times more money. Do you think it worked like that? No, it's not actually. But let's talk it later. So yeah, after like 2 months of desperate, sad mood, and like thinking about the suicide, we just found out that somehow we made it. Somehow means a lot of step, a lot of focus, and a lot of hard work and support for the like the friends which I mentioned before, and we were able finally to like come up to some nice flow of revenue of the income. So, and also what happened that the guys who join us, those free-to-play consultants, they saw an obvious issues which we had in the core gameplay loop and in the economy. So, as we call it, there was a lot of low-hanging fruits which we can grab and just fix where we were. May, super positive, and even more than ever before. As you can see, this is part of the achievements I have still on my telephone, because I have like dozens of them, because each day we passed something. So that was really like a super positive for us. We got over 1 million installs, and we got finally over 150 gross revenue all time. So like no more months with like 15,000K. We did really a lot more. In June, one of the big first A/B tests of the bulk change in the game with this fixed economy get its fruit, because we just targeted to 80,000 per month, and we did 124 with average DAU 55,000 per day, of course per day, and that was still like beginning of the growth. This guy over there in the middle of the picture is so far our most successful YouTuber, and it's a guy who is driving most of our revenue so far. And it's also one of the things which I want to mention, to the end of this presentation, because like we more and more focused on the YouTube marketing, and we saw that in like those like cheaper campaigns can generate technically a lot of money in comparison to its cost. And for the first time in the history, we just tried something bigger. And we went for a deal which was over $10,000 per the testing campaign. And so far, it was one of the most successful steps. Like here you can see, altogether in that time, 130,000 installs, including organic, 45,000 were brought just by that player. And he also helped us to increase the rating so far, because the game, till these days, the game keeps 4.72 star on Android. And we have over 100,000 ratings so far in that half a year. The result of that campaign also was that we owned Italy for a moment. Unfortunately, the sad thing is that it's only Italy so far, so we're still waiting for France, Germany, England, and US. Again, June, super promising, like we're passing another milestones. For example, 73,000 AUs. And finally, discussing our most successful month so far, which was July. After like hard work, 3 months, changing the game, changing the economy, like doing an HR shift within the team, like getting more people on board, and focusing heavily on the influencer marketing and starting with the paid UA campaigns, we achieved nearly 200,000 gross revenues. And yeah, we tested the user acquisition campaigns. Here, as you can see, is the impact of that super engaged YouTuber who is working with us till now. And what we also tested was that if the following campaigns with the same YouTuber can work, and actually, yeah, they can, and they are bringing a lot of new traffic. Each of that peak is a video from the same YouTuber in Italy. Here's the effect on our rating as well. A couple of details about the KPIs, but I believe like this one is more important. What you can see, build 099 is the older build, build 1.3 is the new build, including all the changes and fixes in economy which we did. For example, a thing which those external, designers identified was wrongly set data for the heroes, because our game is about collecting heroes. So what we did before was a linear line of growing. Exponentials start grow in heroes, while we had a linear pay in coins, which means that people don't have any reason to buy actually and level it up. So this is one of the examples which we fixed and which we identified thanks to these guys. And like it was also one of the things why we were able to see even the day 7 retention grow, as well as the ARPU grow, like nearly by 100%. We also started to do like a couple of UA campaigns. They were for us also positive. The thing is that our game so far is we are finally behind the break-even point, and we are generating profit. Unfortunately, the margin is so small that we are not right now able to scale up the UA campaigns and try something really huge with a big impact. It's too risky. So, a couple of fails and key learnings. These are more about the development nodes. One of these is like, don't try to break the standard. And we did a couple of decisions which were driven by, for example, that corporate background, which got us into like dead ends, and it was extremely painful. I would say like we paid for that by the mood in the team, and we also paid by the real money, of course, because we need, in the end of the day, pay the people for their work. Iterate fast and frequent. That's something which is mostly in the high-level pitches which I saw. The truth is that there is a really huge truth behind it, because what we got in, like stuck in, and here comes the story which I was facing a couple of weeks ago. In our pitches, we always describe ourselves as the industry veterans. And one of my close friends and one of our lead client engineer told me, look, Michal, maybe it's time to just delete the industry veterans from our pitches. And I said, why? And he told me, because we are veterans, but by age, not by the delivery. And like that's the truth. Like, so iterate fast and frequent, like it's true. And it needs to be done. What we did actually, we did, for example, like bulk change for 3 or 4 months to find out that it performed much worse than the old version. Some hard facts about the influencer campaigns. It has the highest retention so far out of all the channels which we tried. Organic in tier 1, user UA campaigns, influencer marketing, and like Facebook invites, for example. If you get a great YouTuber, he can help you a lot. If you get a YouTuber who do it really for money, as happened to us like a week ago, when we were, placing our bet for US market, it will just cost you everything you built before for a couple of months. And that's actually one of the downsides which we just saw. It's quite hard to predict the impact of the YouTubers and of the campaigns that they are doing. Like we did over 50 videos in the last 6 months. We worked with over 20 YouTubers so far. It's about 60% ROI positive, but most of them with low margins. It's 40% total loss. Some of them extremely painful, because the profit which we generated in the last 2 months, we lost in 3 days. Couple of soft facts. It's extremely difficult to work with some of those guys. They are nice, they can bring you a lot of money, they can cost you a lot of money, but to find and to have an agreement is sometimes extremely difficult. And although most of them should be professionals, sometimes, to me, it's more like like kids with money rather than professional partner in a discussion and cooperation and building, the knowledge about the game and the impact, and for us, in the end of the day, the revenues. What's good? It is worth with some of them to work long term and really use them, for example, like once per week for a couple of months, because they're still bringing money even after 4 months for now, some of them. Oh, this last slide, so thank you very much. So just to wrap it up, we were in a situation which was really not so optimistic for us. By a work on a specific task, which was getting someone who understands free-to-play design, we were able to fix the worst issues. It was mostly because our game is, in the end of the day, about the data and the content and how it's paced. So direct work on these tasks help us to fix the issues. And out of all marketing tools so far, influencers work for us the best. There is a flip side, and there can be a huge price if you not fit, because those guys and their audience require and expect something. So that's one of the one of the biggest learning. And that's it. 19 minutes, so you have 1 minute for questions.
We got any questions for Michael there? We just got time for one. We get ourselves on track. Oh, there's one at this side there. Anyone with a mic closer than me? No, me.
Hello, thank you. Nice talk. Just one question is, if you could go back in time to when you first started working with influencers, is there like 1 or 2 pieces of key advice you would give to yourself?
I would say definitely don't hope it's the only way how to get the coverage and how you get the players into the game. Because what we did in a desperate time, people tend to just identify an opportunity like the only way how to save something. It's like a kind of a messiah complex or something. So always think in a critical way, and always count if it's even worth or not, and if the decision you're just doing or just making is worth in next couple of weeks. Sorry, it's maybe a little bit confusing, but the thing is that in that time for us, influencer marketing looked like something, especially after the first testing campaigns, it looks like something which is it. It will allow us to do a cheap CPI cost or even like eCPI, because the engagement is really huge even from organic, and it's driving a lot of organic traffic. But it's always there is always something which is like a cost. So we paid 500 and we got back 1,500. We thought that if we pay 10,000, we'll got back 30,000. Last time we paid nearly 20 and we got back 3. So just be careful, and don't take it as it's working on a low scale. We just scale up, pay more money, and it will done the job. It's not like that. It's not so cheap.